Yo, 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 what's poppin', everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Podicast right here at Molapo Crossing, coming at you every single Wednesday on the streets of the local corner Multimedia YouTube page. My name is Scar, I'm your host, and yeah, man, it's another one. We got another one that I'm excited about because she's never a lot on the news and stuff like that, but she's a major inspiration to boys and girls across the country. Special shout out, of course, to Molapo Crossing for housing us. This is the theater where you can do your mini shows. You know, you don't have to start at the big piazza. That's the big boy level there. You can start off nicely, calm, an intimate crowd. You can do your listening sessions here. You can do whatever type of shows that you want to do. And what's really awesome about Molapo Crossing is that they have La Parada, they have Capello, which brought us this beautiful food. The notorious mega wings. Huh? And also a big shout out also to our liquor sponsor, which is Team Agencies today, Land of the Giants. It's a Shiraz from 2021. And who am I forgetting? I'm not leaving anyone behind. I'm trying to make sure that everyone because once we get started, we are gone. But yeah, a major shout out to Molapo Crossing. Remember, check out their center management and find out how you can have your special events there. Check the Facebook pages as well. It's affordable as well. So just make sure that you come through, all right? And like I said, shout out to Capello for the food. Now, in the house today, we're joined by a self-made mogul in the making, okay? This young lady here, she is very young. You know, a high level, this is why she's at the show. And this all started because of a wedding day mishap, where apparently the makeup artist did all kinds of stuff. She'll tell the story herself, and then that's how she ended up being a makeup artist herself. She started her business in 2015, and she employs a couple of young people. She's collaborated with so many brands across it all, which is why we have her in the house, amongst them being Bolo Real and this is why she's in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jessica Molefe, a.k.a. Jessie's Makeup! Hi, Mommy Sto.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yes, please. I got to sing it now.
But thank you so much for coming through. Where are you coming through from? Because it's not like a little bit, because you are not someone who stays in town.
Yes, I am actually based in between cities, Gaborone and Jwaneng.
Okay.
For the mere fact that...
Just don't be calling Jwaneng a city.
It is a city. What do you expect?
I think that's why people get mad. Or you think
maybe they will eventually. Yeah. So I'm based in two places, Gaborone and Jwaneng, simply because my living arrangement is solely determined by my family and my business.
Okay.
So my business base is in Gaborone, and then my family is based in Jwaneng.
Okay.
So I travel in between.
Awesome.
So I live in between two cities, yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Yes.
I think we just have to take it all the way from the beginning so that people can get a real appreciation of you as the human being.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, and also, you know, how beauty and creativity played a role into what we see now.
All right. I think it's very important for Batswana to know that Jessica Molefe are my real names.
It looks like a character out of like a fiction story or something.
No, they are actually my real names. Kemunyana hela otsango Madinare, and then Abigail loko Mudipani.
Okay.
And it's very important to mention that I've been married for 10 years because I know...
Singanga is in the house as well. What up? Shout out.
Yeah, because a lot of people tend to confuse my age. And then when I do tell that I've been a makeup artist for 10 years, the math is not mathing. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been here on Earth for a while.
How long have you been on Earth? Because now you're making me curious. How old are you?
Make a wild guess.
I'd say 27. Yeah, I know how to play it safe here.
Okay.
I don't know. I want to say, yeah, but like close to 30.
I'm actually 34. I don't mind sharing. Yes, I'm 34 years old. Yeah.
Why do women find it scary to mention their ages and stuff, though?
I think they don't want to come to terms with the issue of aging. Now I'm okay. I'm okay with the whole issue
Because
of
you're
aging.
34.
Yeah, I'm fine.
No, wait until you're 44.
No, I'm actually okay. Trust me.
Yeah?
Yeah. Abigail 44 podcast. We'll discuss this.
So you got married at 24?
Yes.
But before we even get into that, I think just to get the basis on let's say in Madinare, or did you grow up in Gabs?
Because of school, UB.
Okay.
Which was 2010.
Okay.
Not so long ago. So I go Madinare, and then Halape, then Madinare, and then I went to boarding school, go Halape, Kolotsani.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, my mom went there.
Yeah. So where it concerns makeup, I think it's comfortable for me to say I've been a makeup artist my whole life, since childhood. Ke bona re dira di act exhibitioning, rewina, and all of those things, and then I just grew with the love for art up until I became a young adult. But art is actually diverse. They don't even actually teach us about the makeup artistry. We are taught about your performing arts, your photography, textiles and fabrics, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know the whole art, makeup artistry. So I fell in love with it when I saw Banyana Kuyubi. Okay, there's this makeup thingy. Let me just give it a try. It started off with doing my eyebrows using a pen, because I just didn't like the fact that using an eyebrow pencil, what is what? So I started to these pens, they were ink based.
Like Sharpies and stuff.
It's into ball pen. Yes,
the one with the thicker base.
That one.
Yeah.
So that was the pen I used in particular, because I was trying to mimic the direction of hair.
Yeah.
And then Banyane Bafila, okay, you're good with this eyebrow thinging. Don't you think add a little bit of foundation, add lipstick, and then before you knew it, I was now interested in makeup as a whole, as in doing a full-on face beat.
Yeah.
And then this was 2011-ish, 2012-ish, but I wasn't really fully into makeup, but I had an idea of what makeup entails.
Yeah.
And then fast forward 2014, I met my husband. 2015, we decided to get married. So I didn't prepare la lenyalo. No le di makeup artist ha tu alo ko phikwe. Kana ke so makina.
O kana zo madinaro wa happy kwa
yes. So I was trying to look for a makeup artist. I remember there was one makeup artist wa Mokhaboro. Unfortunately, she saw my message 2 years later. So I don't know what was going on, but whatever was going on was working out for my good, honestly.
Yeah.
So Kalinyalo, I called this lady, some sort of like a meeting.
Yeah. At that point, like, did people really take... I'm trying to remember back to 2015, because now it's a time where I think a lot of people take makeup very, very seriously. How was the environment back then? How about message years later?
Makeup back then was just lipstick. Yeah, never seen a sepelon. I remember with me also, I had a lipstick and a foundation. Okay, just in case. Because we most clients, now that I'm a makeup artist, they don't take mahadi seriously. You know, seriously. The rest so I had that mindset also. Okay, let me just prepare. I'll do my own makeup for Mahadi, and then maybe let me get a makeup artist for the big day. But unfortunately, that lady, when we were supposed to discuss logistics, and I'm like, wait a second, what do you mean? I don't understand. No, and at that point I was like, you know what? I think I have to do what I have to do. So because I makeup on I got what my mother had, and then I tried to do a little trial on myself. Because I did flexi rosy, tried to do a hairstyle.
Flexi was before.
It's 2015.
Yeah.
It came after the roller.
Oh my word.
So I had to do what I had to do with the little knowledge I had about makeup and hair. And I was like, you know what? Whether I came on I'm getting married, I at this point I don't care.
Yeah.
But I gave my best, only for somebody to give me a very big compliment. I'm saying big because it's one compliment that really pushed me to where I am today. This lady, I was working with her about it. Don't you think you should try this makeup thing as a business. I feel your makeup for somebody who did her own bridal makeup came out very nicely. So I was like, I guess sure. And back then I was working because I was very comfortable with my salary. It was 6,000 pula. So I was like, nah, I'm good. 6,000 and I'm married. Nah, it's okay.
No doubt.
So I was very comfortable. But when I thought about it, I don't know, I fell in love with seeing people being transformed using the art of makeup. So that's the one thing that was my biggest drive to really want to pursue this thing.
And I love that you laid it all down for us like that, because I think beauty brings the question about beauty. You know, here you are, you come into town, you know, and all these girls are doing all of this stuff, you know, and you feel pressured then. I don't know how pressured you felt, or you need to now apply it on yourself. The beauty, what is beauty these days? Like the beauty standards as far as you see them for these young girls, because there's so much makeup being put on. So how have like the beauty standards changed over time according to
beauty standards have changed so much. Now we are in a dispensation where we believe in the no makeup look, but natural, soft glam, yes. But back then, your heavy cut crease was something. A bold lipstick was something. So it's like because as you grow, you get to appreciate that less is really more. And then where it concerns beauty standards, you know, beauty is very subjective. Right now, there was a time where I couldn't go out of the house without makeup because I felt like there was a lot to hide, like the pimple, my skin wasn't perfect enough. But I get to realize, or no, I actually like myself even more without makeup. I'm actually very comfortable without makeup. And you know, a lot of people tend to think because I'm a makeup artist, I need to do this thing every day. I only do makeup when I'm doing videos. And when you see, let's say, me posting every day, give makeup or I mean, I batch content. I mean, I can't do my makeup and then I get to do makeup the following day. I utilize the makeup across all content platforms. So I truly believe being content with yourself, surrounding yourself with the right people to actually see the true beauty in you beyond makeup. Makeup is just a tool to express and enhance your beauty.
Yeah, I think you should say that again. Because the reason I ask about beauty standards is like it's become like something that people have to do. There's some really, really beautiful people out there, beautiful women out there. And I sometimes feel it takes away from that, how they really, really look, because they're really, really pretty. So what's the psyche around it? I want to ask about your development as a makeup artist. Did you have any mentorship once now you realize that this is something that, you know, I can actually do for real?
I did have, yes please, I did have a form of...
Jess will just sit there and trap me, give me Helena, or lick the hand on tell her.
I give a toast to lipstick. Did
you have any mentorship though?
I did have a form of mentorship. I do still have it now, but it's in a way informal. I have a mentor who's strictly, you know, helping me grow the business and just be a brand, stuff like that. In me becoming a makeup artist, beyond the scenario, the whole makeup artist standing me up, calling yalong. Royal Assembly, and they were so big on discovering your purpose. They were so big on living a meaningful, purposeful life. So sometimes no host the seminars, your business seminars, really getting to understand what you want to do in this life, how you want to execute it, character building and stuff like that. So by the time I decided to become a makeup artist, to kind of like step into the world and actually express and live my purpose, I did have a form of mentorship. I still do have it now, in the sense that you know, that type of vibe, because sometimes we really want to give them a piece of our minds, but we can't. And they don't. We have feelings, you know. I do have people you know, such kind of
Are they based in Botswana or are they outside?
They are based in Botswana. They're based in Botswana, yes.
Because sometimes I think your level, because I think also I really like your humility, because guys, if you haven't seen any of Jessie's makeup, you're missing out, because the way I was introduced to you was those kick-ass videos that you do where you start off. And maybe, I think the one that really knocked my socks off, because I showed it to my homies, was the one with the clown, yeah.
Oh,
the Joker.
The Joker, yes.
Hey, because, you know, how am I going to explain showing niggas a makeup tutorial? So it was like, all right, cool. I really want these guys to get blown away the way I am, get hard.
Yes.
And then your switch-ups, all of that, it's just on a level of its own.
Yes.
It's not just some random person who failed at school and then decided this is what I'm going to do, which is why I want to talk about only the barriers of entry into like your line of business. Do you feel, you know, there is a level, disrespect that comes from the way you're all being put into like one basket? The professional, every other day, on a moto poster, hey, I can do makeup, I can do this.
Yes.
What do you think about the barriers of entry being so low in your line of business?
I wouldn't really want to touch base much on the barriers of entry because with every industry, there's going to be a barrier of entry.
Yeah.
Number one is actually, I think the first level, regarding it's a barrier of entry, is dealing with putting yourself out there. Are you willing enough to be seen vulnerable? Are you willing enough to be seen trying? That's with every industry. So I when I got into the beauty industry, I didn't have all those things in mind. It was me against me. You know what? I love art. I've always loved art. So social media, hey, it's free. I might as well express and vice versa. Something like that. But I truly also believe that we are celebrated for our difference. If you are not different, you are literally going to be swallowed by the crowd. So I had to find what really appeals to me, what would help me stand out. The transition based on my love for music also. How do I incorporate music into art? How do I incorporate beauty into art? How do I incorporate my personality also into art? I think that's one thing that really helped me to stand out. I cannot say I cannot say the makeup artist. This is why I don't even mind teaching, because I totally believe that there's so much room for everyone to stand out and shine.
Awesome stuff. You're better than a lot of people. Some people are really, really competitive, and then they feel that if someone is doing really, really well, which I think you're doing really well, from the little that I see, they start feeling like they're doing bad. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And then they start comparing. Makeup kitty. Business. It frustrates even, I think, anyone who's in this creative space that we're in. Everyone feels they can do it. What would you say to some people who, because for you it's a natural talent with the art first, and then you got better by developing that part. What are some of the things to look out for yourself in this line of business? What are some of the things that you should check the boxes for you to even stand a chance of being successful?
This is one thing that God has personally ministered to me, that my purpose cannot thrive on envy. Number one, you are the only person, you are the only fingerprint that has that form of identity. For a reason. I don't think we get to do the same thing so that we look alike. For example, makeup artistry is so broad. It's not just your face beats. Film makeup, there's television makeup, photography makeup. There's a lot. Bridal makeup. There's a lot that can be done. This is why also in me being a makeup artist, I'm not just doing makeup. I'm also into permanent makeup artistry. So as you get into any industry, understand that you're going to grow and then branch into other passions, and that's one thing the rest of the people. If you can tackle envy, and I'm not saying this because I'm any perfect or I didn't struggle with it. It's one thing that I struggled with. Okay, does it mean I'm doing bad? It doesn't mean you're doing bad. It actually means, okay, maybe it's time for you to look for something that is authentic to you. You don't necessarily have to copy and paste. then we are not going to see you. You're going to actually live under the shadow ya motho o mo kopela.
Definitely.
So I totally want to stand by the fact that if you want to get into your purpose or whatever you're getting into, just try to get rid of envy as much as possible. And it breeds from comparison.
Yeah. So don't compare yourself with people. We don't do the same thing for the same reasons.
No.
Try to tell them all the time.
We don't. You makeup and then you decide, no, I don't want makeup. Let me get into clothes.
Farming, whatever.
Exactly.
Anything can change along the way. I want to talk about funding, equipment, because frugal. When we start thinking, I've got to buy equipment, and wow, hella. How are you able to, first of all, how do you get funding for your endeavors?
Fun fact, I've never been funded.
Okay.
Yeah, I've tried.
Where did you go and try?
Go Youth.
Haven't we all? I think I'm the only one who hasn't tried that thing. Maybe I think I'm just, I'm old now, but I've always just been very, very, it's cynical. I just never felt they sponsor talented people. I think they feel, you're going to survive.
Because it's so confusing. Thinking I'm talented, but I was told I lacked technical skills.
Technical skills? Who there knows the technical skills that you have to do this?
I was so confused. Okay, if you feel, because the account you can tell I'm going to give back your money in record time. So if you feel I lack technical skills, don't you feel you need to empower me? So it didn't make sense, and I was really frustrated.
How early in your career was this?
I think this was 2017, 2018, somewhere there. So around that time, I was like, you know what? Maybe this whole funding thing is not my thing. And I worked my little self out. Because I also have a husband who's so cautious about money. And I really need to use the money for what I said I'm going to use it for. So I'm giving you my dikia. I want you to start a studio, but you're not just starting a studio because I gave you money. You need to top up for yourself. So I worked my little ass out. So I
how many people? And touch-ups as well, like at a wedding.
And back then, I used to have the energy. I can't. Honestly, I can't. So in a day, 9 and 2, 8, I need to be done. And I get up again. So it was quite tedious and very exhausting. So and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to look for a place to rent out and open a mini studio. So that's how everything started. Yeah, I never received funding.
But with government, what is your relationship as a youth then? I think you're still under your bracket there, youth.
Yes.
Have you ever felt like there was something that they could do to help the industry that you're in? Maybe if not only particularly you, but in general. I mean, we heard there was a tender for the makeup. I'm not involving you in this.
Yes.
There was a tender for like the makeup,
BTV, yes.
Millions. For that horrible stuff that we used to.
I applied for that thing.
So what more can be done in this space that can make it, not easy. I mean, no one wants anything too easy, but to make it livable, to facilitate competitive, even if you are at the lowest of the totem pole, because we don't know how you end up getting millions over the years. Only no company.
Because it's beyond me. It's an issue of connections. Who you know. With people like me, I'm not really in the business of doing business because I know someone. Because I want my legacy to be clean, honestly speaking. But at the same time, I wouldn't advise anyone to wait for millions. I've made a lot of money outside of our government, quite a lot. And my dear thing, what did I do? I just put myself out there, put my work out there, and then my work spoke for me. So I much as I'm saying this and it sounds like it's not easier as it said, if you try to cut corners will cut you eventually. Yeah. You know,
I've realized that too. You know, people who play outside of this entitlement that our government has to do something end up already fall by the wayside, and then basimola balwela tsone di crumbs tsone tseo sabo competition ke bo 10,000 pula, bo 20,000 pula. That's what I got for doing 20 minutes the other day outside of Gormente. So I think entitlement, that thing, but has there been an effort, at least by, you know, from your observation, you know, your industry, apart from Bonebo Mabonte, because I don't know how the relationship. No, nearly killed me the other day. Our pageantry is not Mabonte. No. We do that. We put all of these things together because I think we don't know any better.
Yes.
So I never understand, is there been a concerted effort to at least try and help people who do what you do?
There has been, number one, well, like effort thinking like Forbes.
Yeah.
Disappointed I was the only makeup artist. I don't know why. I wish you know, what's the point of putting somebody or industry leader it doesn't make sense. So Forbes balikile, I was there. Like I said, I wish they had included more makeup artists, because kana makeup artistry it's at the bottom of the food chain.
Yeah.
But you cannot talk podcasts, music videos, TV, films without a makeup artist.
Never.
You know. So unless
your skin is good. But yeah, the ladies who come to the show need a makeup artist, and we'll be running.
Exactly.
And we talking, I was low key just on some, Jess will do herself, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Because usually the ladies, you know, require a makeup artist, and a good one at that, you know.
And speaking of Sonebo podcasts and photography, makeup art because there's too much lighting and the makeup needs to complement the lighting, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Balikileka Forbes, but I wish there could be more that can be done. A few months back, which was March, I tried to do, not that I'm still going to do it, the content creators brunch. That was that was also my effort of not waiting for the government to do.
But it still created drama also, the content creators brunch.
I loved that drama. I loved it.
Guys, why didn't you invite me? Why didn't you invite me? Then I was low-key heated. I was like,
wow.
No, I'm playing. I'm a bit older. I know, you know, sometimes you can't all be invited at the same time. But we can talk about it also. What was the plan? What were you trying to do there?
I was trying to test the ground first. Who are the content creators?
BJB, we're talking about you.
You know, I believe in excellence, and I'm going to say this without shying away. When it comes to content creation, now I like to follow industry standards.
Yeah.
How can I content creator since we is a phone role? Yo, it's a big no for me. It's a big no for me. I love quality. I love quality with all of my heart, and
it shows.
Yeah, I love quality.
And
I love quality sound, quality visuals. You know, that type of vibe.
Yeah.
So and hello Ronaldo feel our content creator.
Woo,
so,
I like this. Yeah. I like this because sometimes the entitlement. I again go back to that.
Yeah.
I think we feel entitled to even other people's things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If you're not invited, you're not invited.
Then and I had to up my game. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I used to be touched, and this is just a message to anyone else out there. Just pick up your game, let people see who you are, and then you'll be able to get into those rooms, you know, and people will hit you up. Or create your own space.
True.
Yeah, call your own guys. I gotta keep it moving though. When was the moment where you actually felt, okay, cool, this is happening? I'm actually a makeup artist, and I can take my kids to school with this stuff. Like, I can help hubby. This is happening. Is there a particular moment?
I can't say there is a particular moment, but there were moments that reminded me, oh wow, we are really, really doing this thing. Mm-hmm. One of them was when I was contracted to do the Foundation L'Oreal no na le ba ne ba winne ba dirile some sort of a research postgraduate, something like that. Is it post PhD, yeah.
PhD, yeah.
The research someone's a PhD. So they were being awarded, so Basilba Nebale 30, and they were all coming from different African countries. Yeah. I was supposed to do the makeup all together with the CEO of Foundation L'Oreal. And so at that time, I was like, contract, it was a bit hidden first, never some polilore gidila lemang. So I was sending quotations, and these people were like, Jessie Molefe, do you know who you're dealing with? Send a quotation. I think I sent 4 quotations. This lady just kept telling me, ma'am, can you please send a quotation? What are you doing? Hey, and I was so scared because Batswana an outside organization. It's very tricky. When I got to learn they were flying us, accommodation, and also paying for the job, I was like,
this was an essay, yeah?
In Botswana.
Okay, awesome stuff. So Botswana started being this country that does all of these big events and stuff that come over.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out MEK, man.
So it was, I was so nervous about the opportunity, but at the same time, I was like, this is going definitely in my books. It was a big moment for me. And then the other one, just February, I was also invited. No, I partnered with Forbes Women Africa to be their official content creator. So at that moment, I got L'Oreal nelega makeup. Yeah, no, how it was about content creation. I was like, oh, my goodness, the picture is actually making sense. Yeah, no. So to be there, to just take videos and tell the story of what was going on at the Forbes Women Summit. It was a very humbling moment for me. I never thought in my life Forbes Women. But when they came back again, but this time around, Botswana, the organization, I was like, no, this is a scam. Yeah. Who are you? I was so scared. Okay, what is going on? Until they got to verify. No, this is what we want you for. So those are my 2 big highlight moments.
I love it. I absolutely love it because there's a lot of skilled people and people who do what you do. I have very, very few. And I just loved seeing a talented person get ahead. A lot of the time, and I can tell just from the little that we've talked so far in these 30 minutes that, you are about excellence. You're about putting your work there for it to speak for you. I want to know how you chop these things up. Like, how do you do this? First of all, so only the videos are thing. Did you teach yourself how to cut these things up? Did you do a course? Even what did you study at UB? Let's start there. Because this is like deviating completely.
It has deviated
What were you studying there?
I did a double major in environmental science and English.
Oh no, look at BA.
Humanities.
240. Oh, that's it.
It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Something else.
Yes, so that's what I did, and it's completely different from what I'm doing now. Absolutely different.
So what were you going to get into if you do an EMV?
Go meteorological services or land board or become an English or geography teacher.
It was dark.
Very. But Mr. Molefe, at some point, like a plus, and one of the mail is a thing. I'm like, I'm not becoming a teacher. No, I'm not.
And I really hope they learn how to change these things to fit what's currently going on in real life. Because like some of these degrees, you're like, there's already so many people in those posts, and now my life is messed up because I can't get a job for this degree. So, big up, Mamisto. How then do you become a video editor and all of that? How did you learn all of this stuff?
Content creation and videography and stuff like that. It came, I think, around 2019 when I got to realize the importance of documenting my makeup looks.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like, okay, what's the point of to makeup and then post? I just had a problem with using a phone to post on social media. I wanted something that was studio ready and so polished. And I invested in my very first camera, which was a Nikon. Dwaylen iconisant, and then I heard about Canon. I got a Canon. Eventually, I bought a DJI. Before you know it, lights and all of those things.
Are you guys listening to this? How you're saying it's so easy. You're actually investing in your craft.
I am, yes.
This is what people mean when they say going for it, like bossing up. You literally bossed up in your situation.
Yes.
You didn't wait for like, yo, I know local corner, they can shoot this pod for me. Yo, I'm going to get a camera. I'm going to learn how to use this thing.
I had to learn from scratch how to use it. And in buying them, or anything, I knew they were going to kind of like bring back the money into the business or into my pocket. So it's about videography, photography, and everything. I am 100% self-taught. I didn't do a course. It was an issue of just fiddling with equipment, getting into the internet and getting to see what works best and stuff like that. I'm 100% self-taught.
How do you get bookings?
Normally, Uraza makeup.
That's fine.
Obviously through my social media platforms. That's where people get to see me. And definitely word of mouth. I also believe that to makeup, it needs to look even physically good. Makeup, and then that's how it gets to start.
Because I know you say you don't pay too much attention to competitors and what other people are doing.
Yes.
But how do you choose the style that you do? Because like you say, it's very minimalist.
Minimalistic.
It is not my mother tongue. Yeah, so how do you choose your kung fu? How do you choose your style?
As in how diraba to makeup?
How diraba to makeup? Because it's really like, it looks so natural. It's very beautiful. Like, it's very beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. It's very beautiful. You know what I mean? Because I'm looking at it on her. It looks very beautiful, Mamisto.
Yes, thank you.
So how do we... But how do you make the difference? Because you can tell. I remember when I was doing Idols, we were getting different makeup artists from different countries. I remember I was in Malawi, and then they brought this woman, and she started trying to like brush my eyebrows. They're already thick.
Yes.
So you know. So that's why I'm always wondering, like, what type of style? Like, how would you classify your style?
Yes. Most of the times, my style is solely determined by my clients. I first want to know what they prefer. So, whatever you put on social media, you are in a way attracting batho baratang so say. If I put soft glam, it means I want clients babaratang soft glam. So majority of the times I receive clients babarang, look, do whatever you want. And whatever I want in this case, that soft glam player safe. Because you can go all the way out and do a full-on glam makeup. We've been there with people who makeup, lipstick.
I think money when you say that. This is this is your stock.
Yeah,
and
you
can't even get that money back. Then how are you able to like make a business thing? Okay, I'm gonna put this much on. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too technical because it's always fascinated me. How are you able to know? Okay, I'm gonna need this much foundation. I'm gonna need this much this. I'm gonna need this much this. It's gonna last me this much.
Yes.
You know, when I do my inventory. Stuff like that. How are you able to do that? Or is that inbuilt?
I hear where you're coming from. It's not like that.
Yeah.
So with makeup products, I would advise, based on experience also, when you start makeup, you buy a few things that you can use over and over and try to mix and match. Makeup is art, and we're speaking of depende metako. There are certain products that you can mix and match to come up with certain products. So for example, you can come up with a makeup look just out of 5 products. So that's how I started. Makeup foundation 3 hair. Okay, this is how much I'm mixing. Ratio 1:2 type of vibe, you know. It's not like you need to get and then how what's thing? Wow, tell her how it's makeup. You can't. I can't really quantify it to say I don't know how to explain it. Yes,
it's about doing the painting until it becomes perfect. Like it's about doing the work until
you'll just know in you how much is too much, how much is less. You'll know.
I just think some people just don't know, and that's why I think that's where the problem is.
Yeah. It's just, I can liken it to cooking actually.
Because I've met some ladies with like thick foundation like this. It's like, are you trying to become someone else? And I'm not judging. It's not up to me. I can't be talking about people's faces like that. I'd like to tell more on. What is the most in-demand look right now?
The soft glam. Soft glam is what I have on.
Yeah.
It's like your natural, subtle, not so colorful, a bit mature type of makeup look. This is what is in fashion. And
the biggest misconception that people have about makeup? And
one of
women who wear makeup.
I think I would say a lot of people want to use makeup to cover, to hide, especially your dark marks and stuff like that. But they're also failing to understand that with makeup, for makeup to work, you need to work on your skin. Yes. How makeup and it's so funny how some clients would feel no that type of vibe. People like taking shortcuts, I think one misconception they don't understand makeup. For makeup to work, it has to work on good skin.
Good skin.
Yes.
And then when should you be taking it off? Do you take it off immediately after it's been done? I know some people who who want to find a place where they can take a photo before they take it off. And then ultimately we go back home. What is the preferred time? Like, how long should you have it on your face?
There's no such thing as how long. I don't really thing we like a phone, like a makeup, but the most important thing is how you remove the makeup. It needs to be thoroughly removed so that we don't clog your pores and stuff like that. But there's a lot really that goes into makeup removal. Your double cleansing, you can exfoliate if you want, just to make sure that any makeup residue.
Definitely.
Yes.
I want to get into, it's not really controversial because but it happened. The Glitz Awards happened. There was a lot of confusion when that happened. Jessica Molefe, I'll just read it as it's written here. Jessica Molefe thought she was the winner at the Women's Awards, but Lesego Chombo had won. Public misunderstanding sparked embarrassment and social media attention. I want to ask you about that.
Yes.
What happened on the night of the Glitz Awards?
I saw the
videos.
So what had happened was that I was invited for the Women's Award. Women's
Women's Awards.
Yes, Women's Awards. So
sorry,
it's
the Women's Awards.
Yes. So the criteria was that people should vote for us, and ultimately determining who wins. So I went there, Katitila the awards, and obviously I was anticipating to win. If you know you are a winner, that comes quite natural. So when I got there, category. I'm so traumatized when
you blocked it away.
Yeah, I just blocked it away. So Neba announced that the lady was announcing the nominees. So in Elena Lesoko Chombo, I think Natasha Kemona or yes, Natasha Kemona.
Okay.
So in her announcing, she gave subtle hints, that were, in a way, I would say they were attributed to what I'm also known for beyond
the
makeup.
The
whole kwasa thing.
Because all of us know you for that.
Yes, exactly.
Because you add that in your videos.
Yes, true. So when that came out, my adrenaline was just rushing, and I just thought to myself, oh my God, I guess this is the moment. So she went, Ukai Madikwasa. I was also a bit confused. ke emelle a batla go mpona kana yang so mo dikosa me pleke ma go a kere le se go ga o pele kosa ga bini kosa Natasha and the same thing. Okay, ke re yang, should I stand up? So in that moment I stood in preparation to go up front, only for her in that split second to say, and the winner is Lesego Chombo. So in that moment I was just so confused, also really embarrassed. So I was really quite embarrassed about it, and then I just sat there. Because literally now people were talking at the table I was seated at. What just happened? Apologize. Are they saying anything? All of those things. Until the whole night went, absolutely no one, not that I was expecting it, say to hela sa gore yo sorry mama nikisara ke kosa confusion hale, I'm really sorry, something of that sort. Absolutely no one said anything, and then I decided to myself, you know what, I've been on social media for a while, and I think I understand social media psychology. I don't want anyone to tell this story. I'm going to tell it myself. I don't want anyone to hear it from anyone, because for one, I was not the only person recording. I don't want exactly, yeah. I don't want to be turned into a meme, and then over and over it makes me feel bad. So I took the camera. Before I even took the video, I was still crying. I was trying to compose myself. But I was like, you know what? I'm human at the end of the day. I'm not trying to be a superhero here. Robot, I'm hurt, and I think it's justified enough. So that's why I, in a way, took it to social media to tell the story of what had happened. I was not trying to bash anyone. I was trying to tell people, hey, like, tell your own story. I had to tell my own story. So that's what happened.
So now that was what happened that night.
Yes.
Now we've had time to think about it. What happened?
I can't go what happened.
No, that's what happened on the night.
Yes.
But now we've had time to internalize it. We've talked to some people. We've talked to people on that side. We've talked to people on that side. Maybe, or they volunteered information. What was going on? Like, it was extreme. We've never seen Lesego dance kwasa kwasa.
Yeah.
You know, and shout out to the minister, and you know, she's got a big one on her plate right now, so we don't want to make this about her.
Yes.
What do you think it was about? How did such a mistake happen?
No, they did reach out after I chased them down. They did reach out. So the lady, we were over a call, actually a conference call. I apologize. Her explanation was that she's a big fan. Emotions got the best of her. So I was just really asking her, emotions got the best of you. Where's the professionalism there? Na the emotion now I want to win. We're not go to confusion, you know. And she just kept apologizing, and I just thought to myself, it's emotionally exhausting. What she says is that it's a mistake from her end. It costed me, but I wouldn't really want to say it costed me to some degree. I also want to say I think it also worked for my advantage, because a lot of people were asking, who is this Madikwasa lady? You know, it made quite a number of people go down a rabbit hole on my content to get to see what I remember seeing a number of inboxes, but you know what, just much as this had happened, I think it happened for a good reason. I've been seeing your content, I just followed you now. You know, that type of vibe. So yeah, that's what had happened. Ari, it was a mistake.
Have you forgiven her?
Yeah. We moved past it, Yeah,
I know her in another
I know
life.
her too.
She was traumatized. You know, she did speak a little bit about it in our space. Her husband is my dude.
Yes.
You know, blind. I think because being thrusted into the public domain like that, it was one of those things. It's like, what am I going to do? What have I done? Have I put my foot in my mouth?
Yes.
So it's nice to, tota bo mmeke lona le re sekere ha re sa forgivane tota rona ra go bolana wa bona
it's an old issue.
Ba reng ba di awards bona, are you going to be part of this the awards still going on?
No, I'm not going to be part of.
Let's talk about awards in Botswana. I just think it's a money grab.
It's okay. I was because I'm just here also thinking, look, I can invest so much time telling my people to vote for me.
But that's the plan. That is the money grab. That's you telling your people, and then they take the money from the SMSs.
That's the thing.
And break bread.
And then
embarrass you.
You see, so negi filela gore at least if it was possible, at least ha go to gona di-nominees tse tharo yo wina nga wine me ba babedi ba ba bone sengwe kana ke mokane ka re lorna we worked for their brand,
Definitely.
So ke setse ke tenerile offer to the last number mo ile re ga go te Jessie di awards ke filela look, if you want to award me for me. Don't award me gore anong ke simolele ke theogedise community ya me gore ba ntse mathupula eleng gore ga ana go benefita bona ga ana go benefita nna. So honestly, when it comes to Sonidi awards, it's all topiwang go votiwa. I don't think I want to be part of that.
You miss me with that bull-ish.
No, I'm done.
A lot of content creators say they collaborate, but some are just lying.
Yeah.
What's your red flag when someone says, let's collaborate?
I once had a call
Mine
with
is the team industry.
I had a call with somebody on a makeup for years. So she calls me out of the blue. Okay, let's collaborate. I'm like, number one, what's your vision of collaboration? I don't know. What am I benefiting?
Yeah.
No, it's nothing much, but sisterhood, we are. I'm like, look.
Sister, what?
Batile, bale banti, ba mpuaganya, ba bua bone sisterhood.
Yeah.
So I think, hey, ke rugile pele mo go masukaganya di collaboration.
Yeah.
Ha ke bate collaboration, mme ke a bata, but I'm a bit skeptical about somebody who comes to me and let's collaborate, because my first question is, what's in it for me? So ha ke bate di collaboration tse ding gore dinner one-sided, because people kind of like, they don't really understand the importance of the word collaboration. Collaboration is mutual benefit. And then you want to eat off of my mileage, eat off of my connections, then that is not a collaboration. You are using me. Yeah. So I'm very finicky about issues of collaborating. I'm very picky.
I want to go back a little bit before getting a collaboration,
yes.
Especially our hobbies in the building as well.
Yes.
How did you get married at 24? I'm trying to remember myself at 24. Yes. I was just going to be a headache.
Yes.
What made you get married at what most people probably call very young?
I'm 23, right? I got married at 23. Yes. I got married.
Not like that. Who's going to deal?
I got married at 23.
Yeah.
We met when I was 22.
Okay.
Yes. So we dated 6 months. And then by the 7th month, we really decided, okay, let's do this thing, and stuff like that. I think at a very young age, it's quite normal in my family also.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I think Lebo First Bonnie played its role, because their deputy parents.
Early.
So I don't know. In me, I've always felt like I knew I was going to be someone. So I wanted someone as in living my purpose.
Yeah.
But I wanted to deal away with the whole issue of family before Kekatsanako, because I've always had this thing that if you discover yourself and you get to a later age, it's probably going to be difficult to find the one, because that type of vibe. So I've always believed in starting from scratch.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I fortunately met my husband, who also carried the same values, and it was very easy for us to say, hey, let's get married. We didn't need to court for 5 years, 2 years. We're actually in one mind about this whole marriage thingy.
Yeah.
And then that's how it came about.
I love to hear it, man.
Okay.
Because I was checking out Geddy's podcast the other day. and they were talking about being married young. And Bajitane basa buele lola. Interview thing, and it was a young lady who's been married before, Toto Ghani, and she was talking about what she went through. Can we talk about it from your point of view as well? Because I think it looks like they felt like guys by law marry you when you are young are trying to
trap.
Thank you so much, Jess, for helping me with these words. Yes. Hey, so what has been your experience with that, having been married early? Is it beneficial to your development and also as an individual, and also for the plans that you had as a whole to be creating a family that then you can then grow into being yourself?
Yes. I could highlight very unfair that when it comes to issues of marriage, but we forget that we are not married to the same person.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, we're not married to the same person, and marriage is very extremely personal. So what you decide, it's not what I decide with my person. So Nale Mr. Molefe, it's easier because we both had literally the same foundation, understanding marriage from one church and one doctrine.
Don't you think that's also like a cheat code to some extent? If you guys share like similar type backgrounds or similar ideas of what marriage looks like.
Yes.
Because hi Lord, maybe your parents have been married for 30 years, my parents have been married for 30 years. Maybe we understand it the same way, as in, not to say anyone raised in a single parent home would be any different, but the understanding might be different.
Bible can two walk together unless they agree.
Yeah.
You can walk with somebody you don't agree with. Lisa lying in the first place.
Yeah.
The problem with just marriage and relationships, we like ignoring red flags. You want to paint it red. And then when you get into marriage, you're still fighting about the same things. Yeah. So this is one thing we had to deal with first with my husband. That's why I premarital counseling. So that you deal away with these things. And premarital counseling, before marriage. Even during marriage, you're supposed to do post-marital counseling. We've done that with my husband. Why did I do post-marital counseling? I get to understand, we need somebody to come in. And maybe counseling doesn't necessarily have to be or counselor, whoever you trust, So I think it's very unfair to just blanket like all of these issues, because we're not married to the same people. We don't carry the same values. Now, I don't have a problem with people getting married young. I would highly advise that, so that you have the time to build your life, build that life with the person you love. Yeah. And then, listen, at the same time, if my daughter would say, well, I'm at 23, I'll probably say no. I love the honesty. I'll probably say no. No, yeah, because I think with us, honestly. But Baba Tanko Marahoba, they're so fragile.
Emotionally,
but they're so emotional.
All of it. Yeah.
I still can't get over that.
I cried the other day. I miss my guy, but not immediately. Yes. But I hear you completely. And then what? Okay, I don't want to go back there. Yes. But then let's just keep going forward. You have a daughter, yes. And how old is she?
She's 8 years old.
You want to give a shout out? I'm sure Haile Belezi say, "Mommy loves you."
Hi, Sophia.
I'm trying to get into my next question, yes. Which has to be about payment. You've been quoted as being vocal as saying, content creators need to start charging.
Yes.
How much?
I can't say how much.
I'll give you a scenario.
Okay.
Hey, I'll give you a scenario. Right now, I work very closely. Okay, company. Let's say a company comes through, company X comes through and says, they want you to put a post up in words, maybe, or even a video, or what's in the hashtag, help them with that campaign and stuff like that. How much would you charge for like a post? What do you think should be the rate? Not you specifically, but how should people charge? Charging is hard.
Charging
even
is
for people
hard.
like me, I know how to charge for like a performance. Even now, I still don't know. Deep Sukilan blindly. Never charge some company in one. It became 1 hour to charge for a post.
How much was it?
I think at first I charge a 5 clip.
500.
You see? And I think my homie was charging 10,000, kind of 7,000. And maybe jampela now we did something with my posts are not, and that's why I realized the game has completely changed so much that now the younger people really need to be teaching us also, so that we don't muddy the waters for them.
Yes.
Or ask, I want to run charge 500. Where now only really 10,000. So I don't know, how do you go about your process for charging?
I think. Okay.
I stopped. I don't do it no more.
I think, but they don't understand, number one, their worth and value, and then the work that goes into whatever they are asked to do. For example, if you were to put up a post, advertise a product. Number one, you need to, if you want some sort of like brand alignment, you really need to go all out. Meaning you need to contract a photographer.
Everyone, yeah.
So already budget there is palama from 500.
What 500 lady?
Go to 500 charge 500 when you're going to do a crappy job.
But he said generic. When they say generic, like where you're comfortable in your own space and it doesn't look like, I get okay, you are doing what you're usually doing with the product.
Yes.
You shouldn't take them literally. You should actually get like a real person to shoot this thing.
You should get a real person, because even if it's you doing it, kana ga sore ke bone hela ba yang gota for that job. Gona lo mongwe o yang gota e leng gore ga itse gore did you hire a photographer or not. For example, there are certain jobs that I can't do alone. I need to contract a videographer or a photographer, and I think it's very important for people to know that my photographer is Bonnie King. So
what up?
So there are certain works that I can't do alone. I need him to help me, and I have to pay him also. And I need to tell the people contracting me I do have a team. This is my quotation. And most of these people, they totally understand such kind of things. It's just that some of them won't come to you, budget 100,000, 500, and then save the rest. So if I was to advise somebody who are charging, kuruska taba gotola 1.5. For a
be on the
post.
other side of 1.5 at
For
least.
a post.
But is there a way of trying to normalize rates? But at least the standard charge. Okay.
Hence why the content creators branch. We want to standardize a few things. Okay, you've been a makeup artist, a videographer for such and such an amount of years. This should be your charge and stuff like that. We're slowly moving into those things. But I do have a number of people who would call me. Look, I am totally comfortable to tell them no, charge to get value for your money as well, you know.
Because you guys have a lot of followers out there and you don't know how to utilize them. And I think that's what then frustrates people.
Yes.
And then, they don't get invited to the brunch and then they're like, no, it's all falling apart.
We'll invite them.
Who in the creative space do you think is truly underrated in your space? And who's a little bit too hyped?
Too hyped to too hyped to there are a number of creators, and I got to meet some of them at the content creators branch. A lot of Batswana, banale talente, banale skilly, honale Theo, the guy who posts about her everyday life, you know. Yes. There's Theo, Honalebo Ria, Honalebo Pemu, keep on man from the top of my head. There are a number of them. I met them at the content creators branch. I think for the most part, Botswana, we don't have platforms that really help us stand out. Yes. But there are a lot of content creators. Yes.
If we were to have like a camera on you for like 24 hours and 7 days,
yes.
What would really surprise people about Jessica Molefe?
Is
that true?
I talk to myself a lot. Like it's
Are you hyping yourself up? What are we talking about?
Sometimes it's just internal conversations. Okay. I had a lot of mini interviews alone. At some point, you know. So
I try to make it, as about the person as much as possible, but I also want to see your reaction when I ask the questions.
Yes.
And I'm happy you didn't ask for questions. Guys, don't ask for questions. No one is going to make you look like an idiot out here, because we bring people here because we absolutely love you guys and what you stand for. You speak about God a lot, you know, just talk about the spirituality in your life.
Yes.
Where does that stem from, and how do you keep that open channel open with God? Because I know with a lot of artists, some of this is just given to us by God, and you're like, damn, I'm good.
Yeah.
So how then do you make sure that, you're still linked with the source?
To some degree. I got born again when I was doing Form 4. And I carried this whole thing my whole life. It's part of me, honestly. It has always been part of me. I can't do anything without God. Literally, I can't do anything without God. I mean, I want to get wealthy. What's the point of getting wealthy when you're not connected to the source of wealth?
Definitely.
I'm a creative. What's the point of wanting to get ideas when you're not connected to the creator himself, you know? So I totally believe that some of these things we can't come to understand them without Butaleja Mudim, you know. So God has been part of my life for the longest time. I think by the time they will know this lady was a lover of God.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite local beauty product?
Local.
Because I'll bring you to, because I sometimes go to my Q Aesthetics. My lady has shown me a really cool place that's like a block 10. You know what I mean? And I'm always wondering, do we have local beauty products, and do you have any favorites?
Did thing. I wouldn't really say I have favorites, but there are a number of them that I've used. Honale white label fragrances.
Okay.
Yes, I love the perfumes. Honale Haven fragrances also. I've used their perfumes. I've used Nora's lipstick at some point.
Hey, shout out Churchmate.
And then local products where it concerns the beauty. Hadika local. I think Nora is the only person in the meantime who's really making waves in that direction.
I want to, but we're going to have her answer for herself soon enough coming to the show. Why is it so difficult to have more Noras?
Honestly, I don't think it's difficult. Issues of funding. We just get so discouraged when we just think about the manufacturer it's such a very tricky ground to tread on, which is very understandable, because you don't want to get into something you know.
No, Nathan was saying that at the Dreamers Alive show, Megan Good. Someone was forcing her to use like some product in Moyana, and she kept using it. And her skin it's bleaching her skin. The lady hadn't told her that there was some bleaching elements inside it, and then she got lighter, and it was really, really like eye-opening to hear her speak about it, because this is such an intimate job.
Yes, it is. It is actually. It is.
I keep my eyes closed when my barber is cutting my hair.
No. Why? That's risky.
No, I'm just saying, it's like I'm just keep my eyes closed, because I think we're afraid of like that type of connection. How do you break the nerves to be able to do it though? Like to be that close?
You know, I think it comes so natural, and it's so confusing. You know, in that
they
manner.
can trust you.
Yeah,
they don't expect you to be out there telling their business.
Yeah, but at the same time, but the moment somebody comes and sits on my chair, I don't know, I just get into this person who's just so open, and then the conversation flows, and it's just a sweet makeup application. It becomes very natural to me.
I didn't want to ask about your future, man. What are we planning with Jessie's makeup? We're looking at expansion. You know, are we looking at what are we looking at? Tell me.
There's a lot. I want to get into products. but that are not makeup based.
Okay.
Yes. I wish Oscar Bantua
But we're speaking it, into God's
existence.
ears.
Yes. I wish to have a perfume line. Oh, yeah. So.
But that's the new swag out here. Like if you don't smell good, nigga, what you doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wish to have a perfume line. Also at school in the making, I'm still processing a few things to open Jessie's Makeup Academy.
Okay.
Because my plan is that by 35, which is next year.
Plans.
Yeah, I know I change it. But by 35, I had wished that I don't want to do this whole face beat thing. I want to have a team of... No,
okay.
I want to empower other makeup... There are a number of makeup artists by Giba Rutile. Yeah, I would love to take those makeup artists in your face beats. I'll do your bridal makeup. Imagine... Sooner or later, makeup, so that type of vibe. Like I'm into permanent makeup. I'd love to travel also to do ombre brows more, but ombre outside Botswana. So
I saw you do that.
Yes.
And I was like, should I? Because it's the permanent ones, huh?
Yes.
Damn.
Should you do what you want?
No, I'm playing. Can I have one like it's like a permanent eyebrow?
It's semi-permanent, actually.
Semi-permanent.
Yes.
It comes off. Break it down. What is an ombre brow?
So ombre brows is like moving from light to dark or dark to light.
Yeah.
So ombre brows by nature, they're not supposed to look like with the lady tattoo more mudinti. So they're supposed to look slightly lighter at the beginning of your brow, and then they go darker towards the tail.
Okay.
That's where the whole ombre powder brows comes in. The powder it gives a look powder brow. There's a product called powder brow. Eyebrow pencil, you can use it. So we are kind of like mimicking the product using tattoo.
Okay.
So what happens is that the procedure is 3 hours long, basically 2 hours, 30 minutes, 3 hours long, and then the brows will last you for 5 years. So in Nankari, I woke up literally like that.
This.
Yeah.
Beyonce, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So.
But I absolutely love it, and I love that you have so many ideas about diversifying, your plans.
Yes.
I want to get into at least, some random fire questions.
Yeah.
Give me your top 5 makeup artists in BW.
From the top of my head.
You're not afraid of these questions at all.
No, I'm not. There are a number of them. We have the Guru, Makito Rausensa Direl Khale.
Where are they based?
Botswana. Yes, we have the Guru.
In Gabs, in Gaborone.
Yeah, in Gaborone.
Okay.
We have what's her name? Josejo Katai. We have Madame Josejo. We have Bongo.
Why don't I know them though off the top?
You don't do makeup. I don't blame you.
Hey, I try to know things, know of things, but now what makes them pop out for you? Like those individuals?
It's because I know them, and some of them I've worked with them. I've seen their work in real life.
Awesome.
So like I say, Abby, there's Abby, makeup with Abby, and then there's Bridget Beads, and a number of them.
Have you ever regretted?
And Voguish, how can I forget Voguish? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Have you ever regretted taking a gig for exposure?
Yes, so many times.
No, I get it. How do you start? Like, how do people?
Don't start me with the whole exposure.
No, I just want to bring you back to that. I want to pay the beginning. I want to like, do you regret taking those gigs? Don't you think they got you to a position?
I don't really regret them. I've used the mishap for my advantage. Yes. Exposure, it doesn't necessarily mean free. If you're smart about it, you can take advantage of exposure.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think it's very important for people to be paid for what they do. So exposure doesn't pay. Ha ke setse ke tsamaya teng. E setse re la ku tlo go ke a tenega. You can't take me for exposure because I'm thinking to myself, I can invest so much knowledge on photography, videography, makeup, equipment and then you get me for exposure. What's in it for me?
Definitely.
So I totally believe this. Honestly, this whole thing of getting people for exposure should come to an end. At least the how palelwa hamo to 1,000 bulawa petrol or aje or something. You know, I think maybe exposure entry point that thing we should just say it's 3,000 bull.
At least.
Yes.
You at least just to show you appreciate what Moto is doing for you.
You can invest time, resources, money, and effort on exposure. Look, on exposure thing, it's not even quantified. Will you be exposed? Moto tabantare ntse makeup ke na le batho ba ba follow ba le 1 million. Mimo 1 million inyo ke ba nnela ba mo follow ba nna bo ireng. You know, so it's just so blurry. I feel it should be standardized. Okay, exposure entry level 3,000 bull.
And then in closing,
yes,
I want your take on beauty influencing right now. You know, when I libedi, when I libo, but influencing because yes, they just fly and all of that. Are people more into personality or just the perfect face? It's a hard one. I feel I can ask you the hard ones. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to find a better way of answering them. Because
that Nate lady, she doesn't say a lot on her things. Yeah, she just niggas are like, I'm like it's saying though, is it influencing if it's mostly niggas watching you?
But here's the thing also you need to understand also about life. Whatever you have, flaunt it. If you're beautiful, use it. If you're intelligent, use it. If you have the muscles, use them. You know. So I don't have a problem with people using what they are naturally given. But when it comes to beauty influencing, it should be defined or you are beauty influencing in what direction. You know. I'm beauty influencing, and I'm not. I know I'm not the prettiest. No.
Yo,
I'm being very honest because kiba sase ba sedi ba Botswana ba teng ba reng ha ke ba libile ana ke feel a man. My goodness, what am I? Am I even a human being? You know, but there was you know.
Yeah, there's a lot
so
of
I came into the beauty space to influence where it concerns product knowledge and just the skill and just appreciating yourself with or without makeup. That's where I come. This is why I'm very comfortable to also go on camera sometimes without makeup. I'm very comfortable in my skin. That's why I'm very also comfortable a little bit of my belly. Look, it doesn't do me anything because we are human beings at the end of the day. It's for the pictures, but you know. So
I'm a human being.
Yeah, I'm a human being. So they should get used to such kind of thing. We are not always perfect. But when it comes to beauty influencing, the sort of like eye candy, we just love to look at them dress up.
How can they switch it up then and try? Is there... Hey, you just gotta get smart, guys.
No, it's just that we don't interpret purpose the same way. For example, I've met clients with absolutely beautiful lips, but they don't know whether they can be lip models. The lipstick, you know, we just want your lips, nothing else. So people don't think beyond such kind of things. Find a way, but we can help you find that way. You need to find it in yourself because it has to authentically match what you want to communicate. Yeah.
Damn. And to think someone said you lacked the technical know-how.
I know, hey? Sleeping on me.
But Jess, I think that's all the time that we got, man.
Yes.
You went through all of these questions like a pro.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Because we had to get ready for you because this is one of those opportunities for even the younger people who are coming up who want to be self-made, who want to be able to do it for themselves.
Yes.
Because unemployment is at 41%.
It's disturbing.
It's crazy. So as long as we have people like you who inspire and motivate young people to become better versions of themselves and us, like we learn a lot also. We just learned a whole lot from you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And we're from here, going back to J Mecca.
Yes.
No, we absolutely love it. And guys, that is our show. Shout out to team agencies. Barinete Shirazi. And yeah, I'm going to eat my chicken in just a little bit. So, Notorious Mega Wings. Yeah, we're going to have some of that. And shout out to Capello as well and everyone at Molapo Crossing. We'll see you guys next week on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Shout out to Jessie's Makeup and Jessica Molefe. I'm SCAR. I'll catch you guys next week. Boys.
People of different identities.